Gorilla Tag has gone through its fair share of updates. It used to once be a simple monkey game with one forest map. Now, it's a complicated monkey game with multiple maps spanning from an arcade to a creative mode. In this video, I went back in time and explored 2 of Gorilla Tag's oldest updates. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and join the Discord. The link's in the description. Otherwise, enjoy the video. And boom, we are now in the first version of Gorilla Tag to ever release. This was the first version available to the public that people could actually play. So today, we're going to be checking it out. Okay, wow. The first thing I realized when I walk out of Stump is there's no ramp. We have all of these little things that we have to parkour on to make our way up to Stump. And these actually do get changed later, but for now, they're these big bulky things, and if you go from a distance, they actually look really strange. Another thing I noticed is there's no campfire and there's no big music pole. But otherwise, this version of Gorilla Tag looks great. Like, in my opinion, everything looks super simplistic. Everything, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'll mute the background music real quick. Everything has the same sound, like this. Also, I'm kind of a nerd. I memorize what walls look like because that's how I wall run the map and stuff. But these walls are shaped completely differently. Like over here, this wall is not slanted like this. These walls are actually in different shapes, which I think is a really cool feature. Alright, so now that we've explored a little bit on what this version of Gorilla Tag looks like, let's start with step 1 for this version of Gorilla Tag, which is making a route. For each version, I will have to make a separate route, so let's start cooking up a route for this one.
1 hour later.
Alright, so after a little bit of brainstorming, I have my route. It starts on the bench right here and will end at the bench, and the route name is called Loop-de-Loop. The reason it's a Loop-de-Loop is because it's just basically like a big circle. You're going to start here, you're going to go on top of the leaderboard, swing your arm above the leaderboard on top of the gazebo. Then once you get on top of the gazebo, you're going to come over here and you're going to flip your arm underneath and pull yourself back onto the table. This looks easy, but it's actually a lot easier said than done. So, let's get to practicing.
Wake up, filthy.
Alright, so after a lot of failed attempts, I think finally got it to perfection. Boom. And just like that, we actually completed the route, which means we can check off step 1, and we are now moving on to step 2. Alright, so after looking around for a while, I didn't want to go with something obvious like the entrance to Stump, no slippery walls, or even ghost branches. I decided to go with something I invented called the Spin Slam. Alright, so basically what I've invented is I was messing around with Smooth Turn and I noticed it's a little bit glitchy. Whenever I spin in midair, and then I let it go, I kind of slam down into something. So if I go on a slanted surface like this, spin, let go, I kind of go down and I slide like decently far. I started up there and I'm all the way over here. And so basically the higher you go, the better this works. And the better I can slam into things and the better I can go absolutely flying. So, let's go try it out. Alright, so basically it'll look something like this. And boom, I went all the way from the top platform all the way to basically where the river is and where during wintertime sometimes ice will freeze over. And this version of Gorilla Tag was a blast, and it's awesome exploring how old and different the game used to be. But I think it's time we move to the next update. And boom, we are now in the next version of Gorilla Tag, and just from the stump, you can already see there's a lot more differences. First, we have a brand new map being the original Caves map, and we have a big table here with a sign that says hats, which means we have the hat room. I'll go up there in a second, but first, let's explore a little bit more forest. Alright, so the main thing I notice when I walk into forest is they fixed the little stubs getting up to the stump. It's actually the ramp now, and the reason Lemming did this was because people were way too bad when the Gorilla Tag first came out, and people surprisingly could not make little jumps just to go up to the stump. So he added a ramp for much easier access to the stump. And the final thing I noticed, which I didn't really cover in the last video, is that you can see Secret Tunnel is starting to form more of its defined tunnel-like shape. Instead of the last video, which I didn't show off at all, or very well at all, is that this whole wall just looked like a wall. So now that we're done looking at what changed from the last update in Forest, I say we head up to the hat room and look at what the cosmetics used to look like. Let's go take a look. And boom, everything in here looks great. There's even a mirror, you can see me. I have my name, and this is actually my color code. It just looks completely different. But we have all the amazing cosmetics. We have the blue hat, the top hat, sunglasses, early access, the coconut sunglasses, this red hat, the fez, and the cowboy hat. These were actually the only cosmetics available for the longest time, and until Lemming added City, these were all you could wear, which is very limited. There's only 9 cosmetics here. Eventually, the banana hat gets added right here, but I won't be showing that in this update. But that's about it for the hat room. The only other small things I notice is the sunglasses look like they're a little bit different on the ears. The top hat's a little crooked like that, and you can't actually touch these things. You can only touch the tables, but your hands go completely through all the cosmetics and the headstands. However, I do notice that you were able to purchase these somehow. I don't know if there were shiny rocks or if it was real life money that you had to purchase these with, but they do all say unavailable, but I can feel vibrations in my controller when I press these, which means this was an actual button, which means you were able to purchase these somehow, some way, but I'm not sure how. And now that we're done looking at all of the cosmetics, I see we go check out the brand new map, being the Caves map. This was OG Caves, so this Caves was a lot simpler, and actually Caves over time got a lot of things added. For example, when OG Caves came back, and in original OG Caves, we had a big crystal thing here that was almost like a piano, where there were crystals everywhere that you could tap on and play. That also means that crystals have no sound. Like if you tap any of these crystals, it's just making the same sound that everything else does. Sounds for things don't get added for the next couple of updates. Alright, but I'm going to quickly get out of Caves before any kind of ghost or scary monster comes and gets me. And now it's time to move on to step 1, which takes place in the Forest map, and it's creating a route.
A few moments later.
Alright, so after a little bit of brainstorming, I've come up with my route, and I'm actually changing up a route that I usually do when I'm playing actual Gorilla Tag in Real Infection. The route starts down here on this branch and ends in the treehouse, and following this route the long way home. You start here, and you got to go through these branches and get your way all the way up on the trees like this until you reach this branch. Then once you reach this branch, a lot of people think you can just jump up here, or even take this branch to go like that to get up here. But I'm actually going to go, as I said, towards the treehouse. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to flip myself under like that and land on this branch up here. Or if I fail, I might land on this branch. But after I get to this branch, I'm just going to go like this and make my way over to the treehouse. And now let me get to practicing, because this route's a little more complicated.
6.5 hours later.
And we actually made it. Now, that might have looked like I did it first try, but I used something called the power of editing, and I cut out the 20 or 30 failed attempts that it took me to make it in here down to one couple second clip for you guys to enjoy. I did have to take a slightly different route, but that's okay. I made it in here, and that was my goal. And once again, after exploring, I didn't want to go with something obvious like how there's now a ramp up to Stump, or the secret tunnel change, or even, once again, no slippery walls. I decided to go with something that I actually didn't notice until recently while exploring for routes. The thing I actually went for is behind me, and it's behind Stump, and it's that we're missing the 2 pathways leading to City and Canyons. This is something that I didn't realize until more recently while exploring paths for routes, and that's because I actually use these a lot. And some players, even while getting up Stump the, what I'm going to call noob way, is a lot of people like to pause on them and rest on them to catch their breath, or to get a better advantage for how they can go up the wall to make it on top of Stump. And now that we've finished exploring the 2 updates for this video, I think it's time to head back to present day Gorilla Tag. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and join the Discord. And let me know in the comments down below if you guys want this video to become a series. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.